Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Bio Bootcamp. I'm Nolen Davis, and today we're talking about the perfect pair. And it's probably not what you're thinking. Let's go. All right, for the last week or so, we've been having Stuart Tomc on the show, and he's been educating us. We've been talking about taking this test. Our goal of taking 250,000 tests to see where people biomarkers are is right here at Bio Bootcamp Live. So if you saw the last one, go to biobootcamplive.com. But without further ado, we're about to bring Stuart Tomc. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Stuart.
Nolen!
What's going on, Stu? How are you, sir?
It's so great to see you. I've never had a bad day in my life. I forgot to say that last episode.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. Right? And you are known for saying that. People are already saying this dude never has a bad day. So it's all good. So today we're talking about the perfect pair. Explain the perfect pair, Stu.
The perfect pair is the combination of omega-3s and something called polyphenols that we're going to get into on today's show. The perfect pair, top nutrition experts around the world have said this. We all need to get the same amount of omega-3s that the Inuit had in their diet. We used to call them Eskimo. Now we call them Inuit, right? That's the appropriate term. First Nation people in Greenland. They have the highest levels of omega-3 and the lowest levels of heart disease. That was called the Inuit Paradox. So we need the omega-3s of the Inuit, but we need the polyphenols of the Mediterranean diet. And those two together, they are the perfect pair for prevention.
Got it. All right. So when we talk about what is a polyphenol, let's
Well, I made some slides for you. I always do.
Okay. All right.
I love that. Let's bring them up. Let's just kind of look at the role of polyphenols. It's a big class of compounds. They're plant compounds from olives, berries, and herbs. So there's a lot of different types of polyphenols. But for what we're talking about today, when blended appropriately, and we have patents to do this, we have our own technology, when blended appropriately, they preserve omega-3 structure during digestion and transport. So the polyphenols are the antioxidant plant compounds found in olives, berries, and herbs. So just ask yourself, are you eating enough polyphenols in your diet? Think about that for a moment. Nolen, can you see where a lot of people, because of their circumstances or their situation, they're not eating a lot of olives, berries, or fresh picked herbs?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's why I call them the perfect pair, because when you look at them together, omega-3s alone are not enough. Now, for anybody that's just tuning into the show, I was the former global educator, spokesperson, and brand ambassador for Nordic Naturals. You ever heard of Nordic Naturals?
I have. Absolutely.
Well, I know you have, right? But if you haven't, go look them up. They're the biggest omega-3 company in the natural product channel. And what we've learned, what Nolen and I have recently learned over the last, in my case, the last 15 months, omega-3s alone are not enough. Why? Omega-3s, including Nordic Naturals and any other high-quality fish oil, oxidize quickly. What does that mean? You know when you're fishing in the summer I used to go up and down the Mississippi River fishing with my grandfather. Did you ever do that, Nolen?
We fished in Chicago, right there at Wolf Lake, which is
Okay.
by Indiana. But yes, absolutely.
So you remember in the summer when a fish is sitting on the cement right there, and how long does it take before it starts to smell?
Not long.
Not that long, right?
No.
Because the omega-3s oxidize quickly, especially in capsule or in generic oils, and polyphenols act as the natural antioxidants to protect omega-3s in the body. They are naturally, I go like this with my hands, because the polyphenols wrap around the omega-3s in nature. And without polyphenols, most omega-3s never reach your cells. This is why standard fish oil, standard omega-3 products are not delivering on the promise. Now, one of the things I always love to do is come equipped on Bio Bootcamp to share with you and to share with the audience. I want people to see this. Omega-3s come from algae. Now, that's spelled the British way on purpose. One of my heroes wrote from algae to omega, from the alpha to the omega, which was kind of a play on our terms.
Right.
But polyphenols wrap around omega-3s for protection. And they help to transport the omega-3s through the gut and into the red blood cell. When you eat fish, fish eat algae. And the algae have the polyphenols on the outside and the omega-3, EPA, and DHA on the inside. They are the perfect pair because in nature, they are always together. They're always together.
So that's why you don't get everything you need to get from the farmed fish type of situation. So if you get salmon that's farmed, what is it? A fish farm, or farm fish, or however you say it, then they feed those fish pellets, and they don't have the natural polyphenols that algae would give them, correct?
Correct. Now, they're putting algae back into feed, and they've been using fish meal when you make fish oil. The protein is left aside, and they've been reintroducing that. In fact, 50%, interestingly enough, of the production of omega products go back into aquaculture so that you get the omega-3s through eating fish or from fish oil. But to your point, farm-raised catfish or farm-raised tilapia or even farm-raised salmon that are fed grains or omega-6s that don't have enough omega-3s, and the fish are not wild and they're not eating the algae, they don't necessarily have all the polyphenols. So that's why we call this the perfect pair. And I thought, let's bring a little bit of science always to Bio Bootcamp, maybe more than a little bit, but we make science fun here. Absolutely. That's the thing about Bio Bootcamp. That was my job for Nordic Naturals, was to make science fun. And I get all these accolades for being an Omega man. What's all my teachers and scientist friends and doctors that mentored me. And they always said, get excited about the science. I love that. Isn't that great? Don't exceed the science, but get excited about the science. That's why we love the test so much. So look at this paper. You would think that I pulled this out of, that I made this one up myself. Look at the title, Nolen. Sustainably sourced olive polyphenols and omega-3 marine lipids, a synergy fostering public health. Wow. Doesn't that look like something that I kind of dreamt up, Nolen?
Right. Where did you get this from?
I got it from PubMed, PubMed.gov. I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours on PubMed. While my wife is watching Netflix, I'm sitting right next to her, and every night I'm reading through PubMed. I'm reading the literature year after year after year after year. So that's why when I come on to your show and I get to be your co-host and say, there's a whole lot we don't know, and remain teachable and remain totally humble at all times, because you got to look at the arc of the science. And this here is a contribution, because there was a mystery, Nolen, and it was a huge mystery. I'll just go back in the time machine for a minute. Why were the studies of people that were eating fish, they call them epidemiological observations, where people ate fish and they had different health outcomes and they lived a different kind of life? See how we didn't make any disease claims there, Nolen?
Right.
Versus when we started doing these controlled trials with fish oil capsules, we started seeing that it just wasn't working the way we had expected it. Well, now we know, number one, they weren't using the test to establish the baseline. That's important. Number two, they weren't using the right antioxidant. What do I mean by that? Pick up any bottle of omega-3, any company. You're going to see vitamin E, like Edward, is the antioxidant that they use to stabilize the oil. Well, that may keep it stable in the bottle, but it may be pro-inflammatory inside of the human body. Yikes. I had no idea. So let's just read the blue box here with me together. It says natural polyphenols present in marine oils play an essential role in protecting omega-3 lipids from oxidation and autooxidation, ensuring, look at this, that no pro-inflammatory products are formed after intake, as often happens with refined omega-3 concentrates. Yikes! What this is saying is if you're taking standard fish oil, it may be depleting your body's antioxidants. In fact, we've learned now that vitamin E, like Edward, if you're taking a lot of vitamin E and you're eating a lot of meat, how many people do you know that are on that carnivore diet right now? No.
Oh, I know a couple.
And then they're taking a little bit of their omega-3 with the vitamin E. Vitamin E and meat can be a pro-oxidant. And so we are really doing everything we can to help you realize that food matters and the supplements that you take matter. And look at the picture at the bottom where it says olive polyphenols and omega-3 marine lipids. Do you see that yin-yang symbol?
Yep.
Of the olive with the fish? Don't you love how that is explaining what we're talking about?
Absolutely.
So that's the perfect pair.
Okay.
The polyphenols of the Mediterranean diet, the omega-3s of the Inuit diet. This is biohacking with a biomarker on Bio Bootcamp that is not fluff. In terms of in order of what's important for your health, this is the most modifiable risk factor next to quitting smoking. So when we compare adding the polyphenols together with the omega-3, look at this on the right-hand side versus cod liver oil versus concentrated fish oil and krill oil. This is called the oil stability index. So this is where we take these different types of oil and then they heat them up to this outrageous temperature and they just see how stable they are. When you combine the polyphenols with the omega-3, it survives for 35 hours under this condition. Look at the chart. Where cod liver oil starts to break down in no time, concentrated fish oil breaks down even faster, and look at krill oil breaks down even faster than that. So that's why I call this the perfect pair, the synergy for public health, a synergy fostering public health. And I thought this was important enough to bring this paper to the show. And I love what you said on the last episode when you said, we want every person to be bringing this information to their primary care prevention. Doctor.
Absolutely. So it's some people that you do some research on what ashwagandha can do for you or turmeric can do for you, and then they'll say, okay, not a problem. But because our information is literally researched by doctors and scientists, and we have so many doctors that's giving this to their patients, that's having their patients take the same test that you can take right here from Bio Bootcamp to get their base levels and giving them the same balanced oil regimen that we have here to put them in a better situation, we thought that we should just go ahead. I blew the dust off of Bio Bootcamp. I invited Stuart to co-host it, and I want you to see what I saw. So what I'm going to show you right now is a video on how to get your own personal biomarkers and take the test. We'll be right back.
6.3 billion people are not getting enough omega-3s. Omega-3 is an essential fatty acid. We need to get our omega-3s from the food we eat, or by taking supplements with fish oil. Antioxidants ensure the omega-3s stay fresh and potent, so our body can absorb the nutrients, but not just any antioxidants will get the job done. Polyphenols are the game changer. Powerful micronutrients working in synergy with the omega-3s to slow down oxidation and optimize absorption in order to offer long-term health benefits to your body. The refining process will rid the fish oil of virtually all mercury and PCBs. Unfortunately, this process also washes out the natural polyphenols in the oil. This is why most modern omega-3 supplements have little effect in the body. Polyphenols from pre-harvest olives are the plant-based equivalent to the antioxidants naturally found in seafood. This is a fact often overlooked by the fish oil industry. It puts our Balance Oil Plus in a league of its own. Our synergistic formula brings the magic of polyphenols and omega-3s back together. This is a revolution in omega-3 supplements. Our supplement is actually closer to oily fish than fish oil. We've captured a true force of nature. All you have to do is put our product to the test, literally. The Zenzino Balance Test is at the heart of our balance concept. You take the test before you start using our Balance Oil Plus, and then again after 120 days. This way, you get to see for yourself if your essential fatty acid levels have been restored. And we get to prove that our supplements really work. Let's take the guesswork out of a healthier way of living. Find out if you're in the clear, or if it's time to act now to maintain normal physical and mental functions in your body. From the pioneers of test-based, personalized nutrition. Zenzino. Inspire change in life.
All right, now we're back. Now, this is your opportunity for you to go to biobootcamplive.com and click the button about taking the test and see what it's all about. So, Stuart, anything you want to say before we go, sir?
Yes, I just want to thank you so much for just encouraging everybody to start testing and to stop guessing. I mean, I was so embarrassed myself, Nolen. I'm always going to shine the light on myself and, kind of in a self-deprecating way. Here's my job. I'm the spokesperson for the biggest fish oil company in the natural product channel. I take our test and I fail. Whoops. I didn't have the perfect pair. Now, this is interesting. When I passed years ago, and I'm one of the first people to introduce this blood spot test to the natural product channel, almost 20 years ago, I introduced it for Nordic Naturals. Now, we didn't have an entire system like you and I have now, where you take the test, you get on the balance oil with the perfect pair, test again in 120 days to prove that it was working. But I remembered the other day in preparing for this episode that the first time I took the test, I passed. And I was eating sardines every day.
Every day.
Every single day I started my day with a can of sardines and an apple. So when people say to me, what do you mean you never had a bad day in your life? You have to eat sardines for breakfast every day. Well, I chose to. And then I was so obsessed with that. I smelled kind of fishy, like that wasn't so good for public speaking, right? Like your breath.
Fishy is going on here. Right?
That doesn't help.
I think I smell too.
Then I switched to this wild caught salmon. And I'm serious. This is just me. Don't worry, this might not happen to you. I ate so much fish, I ended up developing a bit of an allergy to fish. So I had kind of gotten off of it because I was overdoing it. Sometimes that happens with food sensitivities and food allergies. The thing that you eat the most, that you like the most, that you crave the most, your body might not like, which is kind of interesting. So it was interesting to go back and think, I passed the test when I was eating the sardines. The sardines, eat algae or little krill or plankton that eat algae. And the algae have the polyphenols and the omega-3s together. They are the perfect pair. When you read the work of Paul Clayton, Professor Paul Clayton from Cambridge, who then went to Oxford, I consider him one of the greatest living minds in nutrition today. And he wrote a paper we talked about in an earlier episode in the Royal Society of Medicine, which he called From Algae to Omega, which was a nod to the alpha to the omega, the beginning and the end, right? The thesis of our show. And he talked about how, this is powerful, he talked about how they had to put omega-3 in the infant baby formula to protect these developing brains, because they looked at breast milk and found out that it had omega-3 in there and other fatty acids. So they actually had to reintroduce the fatty acids into infant formula so it mimicked breast milk. Well, Professor Clayton says we need to make sure we have the perfect pair and add the polyphenols back into the omega-3 after people are born. And our job is to keep healthy people healthy. And that's never been harder to do. It's all about primary prevention. So I want everybody that's listening to the show and following us to know that our mission requires your assistance. We're going to test 250,000 people before and 250,000 people after, and collect our own data.
250,000. Yes, those same 250,000. Because everybody may not take both tests. So I want people, when you go to biobootcamplive.com and you click taking the test, and I want to say this before I finish that statement. I want to say I've seen blood tests that takes $1,700, $1,400. This is extremely affordable. It's not even 100.
Oh no! To your point, there was someone I know. They told me they got bamboozled. That's the term. This kind of monitor that you wear on your shoulder. It's not for a blood sugar monitor. I understand those. This just draws a little bit of blood, and then it kind of analyzes it. I don't know how it works. Right? It sends the information somewhere. They got back this report, and they went through page after page after page, talking about how they needed cellular support. They needed the right antioxidants in their body. They needed the right fatty acids in their body. And it was like, to your point, $1,500 or $1,700.
Right.
This is something that is affordable, that's scalable. And I love the idea. We're going to call it that 120-day Bio Bootcamp Challenge. Right. Statistically, we're going to demonstrate that 95% of you that take the test and follow the protocol will test in balance or dramatically improve after 120 days. That's actionable Bio Bootcamp material.
And when we talk about the price, because I know some people don't care about the price. Some people are like, is it affordable? It's less than $120 for both tests. Like, and for the balance oil, right? And so once you really start to feel different, look different, in 4 months, when you get your last test results, you'll see why you started to look different and feel different. Now, everybody has their own testimonials. I've been on the balance oil right now for almost 30 days, and I've started back running, and I've started back doing my workout in the morning. So I'm doing like 2 days, and I'm not really out of shape, but I've lost last year my brother died. One of my younger brothers died. He was 29 years old. And I was doing a challenge to where I was working out, I think, at 160 days in a row. So every day I would go on and say, today is day such and such, and you would see me at the gym or see me at the track or see me at the beach, whatever it was. Every day I was doing something. And when my brother passed, I lost my footing, right? And I'm not training for anything. I'm not like trying to do a 10K run. I just want to be that guy, right? That just looks good, feels good, sounds good, like just have love for you. I just want to be that guy, right? I just want to be what in my mind is the perfect gym, right? And that used to be my TV show. So with that, I'm telling you, I've been on this for about 3 weeks now. And now I'm back to doing 2 a days. And I'm not killing myself. So I don't want you to expect to see like a huge muscles and 6 packs. But it's really about, can I jump down and do about 70 push-ups in a row? I can, right? Can I go run a mile in less than 9 minutes or 8.5 minutes? I can, right? And just trying to be in shape and maximizing, because I'm 52, my capabilities right now and trying to sustain them, right? And so I've not been on, I've not been on a month yet, and I already can tell the difference. Now, everybody's results is going to be different, but I just want you to realize by the time I stay on it 120 days, what other things are going to be revealed, right? Our concentration is a little bit better right now, but I've already done the test. And so I'm waiting on the test to come back. I was kind of slow with putting it in the mailbox. There's no mailboxes around, Stuart. I don't know what the heck happened. Like, you literally just got to go to the post office. So I was riding around with it in my car, but the test is so simple. You prick your finger, 2 dots of blood, everything is there. You don't even have to pay for postage, and you mail it in and they give you your results. But I'm not talking about me. I just wanted to share that part about me, which I very rarely do. I'm talking about you, the person that's watching this right now. I want you to take a test. Be a part of our test drive here at Bio Bootcamp. And you can do that at biobootcamplive.com. And it'll say right at the top, take your test here. Click that, watch a couple of videos to get a little bit more information, and take the test. Stuart, I want to thank you. Like always, I feel like we own some Jordan and Pippen. We're getting better and better every game, every episode, every time we do this. But you bring great information, and the heart that you have to help people. It's not just about the mindset to me, it's also about the heart set. And I think that's why we was friends right off the bat from the second event. So wanted to thank you, Stuart. Hey, for those that are watching right now, you can check out Bio Bootcamp Live and subscribe and share all of our social media, because you're going to be seeing some stuff about, I got some ideas of putting some things out with AI, some AI generated fish saying our fish oil is not what it needs to be. So stay tuned for what we got coming down the pipeline. And until next time, love to live to love, and be well.